Are you constantly dealing with people who seem selfish, inconsiderate, or just exhausting? Today we are talking about hidden empathy problem that's making your life harder than it needs to be. And why learning to say no is actually the most loving thing you can do for yourself and others. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why am I surrounded by idiots? Or maybe you feel like constantly dealing with people that just don't get it. Well, I have some news for you. The problem might not be them. If you're constantly surrounded by people who drain you, disappoint you, or seem to take advantage of you, you're probably dealing with what I call empathy overflow. Now, being empathetic is beautiful, it is a gift, but like any gift, when it's not managed properly, it becomes a burden. And here is what happens when you're highly empathetic. You naturally attune to other people's needs, emotions, and energy. You feel what they feel, you see their potential, you want to help, to fix, to make everything better. You become a magnet for those who haven't learned to take responsibility for their own emotional state. It's not that these people are bad or evil, they're just operating from a different level of consciousness. The problem is that you are not seeing them clearly. You are seeing them through the lens of your own empathy. You are projecting your own emotional intelligence onto them, assuming they have the same capacity for growth, self-reflection, and consideration that you do. And when they don't meet those expectations, which they can't because they are not there yet, you feel frustrated, hurt, and yes, you start thinking they are idiots. You never learn how to protect your own energy. You learn to sacrifice yourself to be accepted. You haven't learned that saying no is just okay. It's necessary for your spiritual and psychological health. From the psychoanalytic perspective, this often stems from your childhood patterns. Maybe you learned early on that your worth came from helping others, from being needed, from fixing problems that weren't yours to fix. Maybe you were the family peacemaker, the one who takes care of everyone's emotions. Let me give you some examples. You know that friend who always calls you when they are in crisis but never asks how you're doing? That coworker who dumps the problems on you but gets defensive when you offer actual solutions? That family member who expects you to drop everything for them but is never available when you need support? These aren't necessarily bad people. They are just people who haven't developed their own emotional regulation skills. And guess what? By constantly rescuing them, by always being available, by never setting boundaries, you're actually enable them to stuck in these patterns. Here is another example. You're in a relationship where you're always the one listening, supporting, giving advice. You tell yourself you're being loving, but really you are creating an imbalance. The other person becomes dependent on your emotional labor instead of developing their own inner resources. Maybe you are the person who everyone comes to with the problems because you are so understanding. It sounds nice, right? But what's really happening is that you have trained people to see you as an emotional dumping ground. And when you finally get exhausted and need support yourself, they are nowhere to be found because they have never learned to give, only to take. The spiritual truth is, if you don't honor your own boundaries, nobody's going to do it for you. You're not serving anyone's highest good. You're keeping yourself in a victim role and keeping others in a dependent role. Nobody grows from this dynamic. How to start creating healthier relationships? First, you need to understand that setting boundaries is not selfish, it's sacred. When you protect your energy, you're able to show up more authentically and powerfully. for the people and situations that truly matter. Start small. Practice saying things like, I can take on that right now, or that sounds really difficult, but I'm not the right person to help you with this. Notice how your body feels. That tension, that resentment, that is your inner wisdom trying to guide you. Stop trying to save people who don't want to be saved. This is crucial. You cannot heal someone else's wounds. You cannot do their inner work for them. The kindest thing you can do is allow them to face their own challenge and develop their own strength. Get comfortable disappointing people. I know this sounds harsh, but hear me out. When you're constantly trying to keep everyone happy, you're living from your ego, not your authentic self. People pleasing is actually a form of manipulation. You are trying to manipulate how others see you. You are trying to be accepted. Instead, practice showing up as your true self. Some people will love it, some won't, and that is perfect, because that's how you find your real tribe. The people who appreciate you for who you are, not just for what you can do for them. Here is the spiritual perspective. The universe is always trying to teach us about balance. If you keep attracting takers, it's because you need to learn to receive. If you keep feeling drained, it's because you need to learn to fill your own cup first. Remember, you are not responsible for other people's emotions, reactions, or life choices. Your only job is to show up authentically with love and boundaries intact. The people who truly belong in your life will respect your boundaries. The ones who don't, well, they are showing you exactly who they are. Believe them. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, why am I surrounded by idiots? Ask yourself instead, what is this situation teaching me about my own boundaries? Your energy is sacred. Guard it like the precious resource it is. That's all for today. If this resonates with you, subscribe for more insights on creating healthy relationships and honoring your spiritual path. See you next time.